Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? What's good? What's good? Welcome to Easy Does It with your host, Mike Roro. How are we doing, everybody? Listen, we are so excited. This is the first episode, the intro, the introduction to the future. That's right. Hey, we are starting a new podcast over here, all right? So Easy Does It with your host, Mike Roro. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's just get into this real. Just we're keeping it simple. I don't know about y'all, but I like it simple. So who, what, and who are we over here at Easy Does It, EDI, baby? So this is a community. This is a podcast. This is for recovering addicts. All right, recovering addicts on the journey or the path to becoming recovered. Yes, recovered. Guys, I'm big on words, man. I'm big on words. And for those of you that are in AA, the 12 steps and all that, you know that we refer to the big book, which is Alcoholics Anonymous book, the big book. And you open up to right to the beginning. And the big book states, it says, the story of how many thousands of men and women have recovered from alcoholism. Keyword recovered. So that's what I'm focused on, recovered. But now, listen, now, just listen. I'm just getting into it. All right. I know there are many people out there that say and feel you will always be recovering. I know. I also know that there are many out there that believe you can be recovered. I agree with both. I really do. I do know that, let me just say it. I believe, Mike Roro believes, that once I become in the recovered state, I'm still going to have to work the program. I'm still going to have to exercise and maintain myself in the program to stay recovered. That's all I'm saying. Okay, there's no reason to bicker about this and that. Hey, we in this together. We in it to win it. All right. So, what is Easy Does It? Now, I'm sure some of you that are already involved in the program have heard this phrase, all right? This phrase, Easy Does It, is a phrase commonly used in the recovery community, all right? Particularly within the AA and other 12-step programs, all right? It serves as a reminder for individuals, especially myself, dealing with addiction, to approach our recovery with patience, with calmness, all right? Avoiding impulse decisions, avoiding actions like crazy actions that could lead to relapse or heightened stress. That's why, hey, easy does it, big fella. Easy does it. That's what it means to me. That's how I view it. So, listen, the idea here, all right, the idea is to take life one step at a time. All right, we're going to focus on the progress rather than perfection, and we want to maintain a balanced and steady approach to our sobriety. That is us over here. Easy Does It, EDI, baby. That's what we're doing. All right? Now, this mindset is helping individuals manage our expectations, man, and we want to stay committed to our journey of recovery, okay? That's what we are here over here at Easy Does It. And it's that simple. We've already made life so difficult. we've made we've made life very difficult, very hard on us already. Why continue? We ain't doing that no more. Easy does it. So before getting into the show, I just want to shout out. I need to shout out. Take this 2-3 minutes just to shout out two places, man. Two places that just recently played a really, really big part in my life, a really, really big part in helping me recover. First place, shout out to Boca Recovery Center, baby. Boca Recovery. Listen, that was the first part of my journey. Wonderful medical center, above and beyond out there in Jersey. The staff was amazing. Counselors, the therapists, the medical staff. Hats off to you guys. I mean, hats off. I mean, this is where it began for me. You guys really did a wonderful job. And after that, I went over to the next medical place. Shout out again goes out to All In Solutions over there in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Amazing staff, amazing counselors, amazing group leaders. Yo, it's amazing. It is amazing what these two places have done for me. And I will always hold them high, man. So listen, ladies, gentlemen, if you were listening to this podcast and you have been struggling and you need a place to go, man, reach out. Actually, I reached out to All In Solutions first, and they are the ones that provided the guidance. They got me to Boca first, and then back to them. So they are ready and willing, and they go above and beyond, man. They go above and beyond. So I want to clap it up. I need to clap it up for them, man. Thank you, both of you places, for caring and taking the time out. And you know what? I want to shout out to them. In particular, the staff members. The staff members are recovering addicts or former addicts. And the amount of love, generosity, caringness, willingness that each one of those staff members showed. Listen, I was touched. I've never been to a program. I've never been to a detox. I've never been to a home. I've never done that. I've struggled with alcohol for 25 years. I've always had a negative outlook on these programs simply because my father was a drug addict for most of my childhood, most of my life. He was in and out of these programs, and it never worked. He never was sober. He battled it forever. So my outlook on the program was based off of what I experienced through my father's experiences, if that makes sense. So the thought never really came to me. But I finally said, I need to go to a place and get help. I need to see what tools they have, because people are living a recovered life. I need to see those tools that are being provided. And I gave in. And I humbled myself. Any pride was removed. I went in, I dove in with a willingness. And what I received is priceless. And any of you staff that might be hearing this, and if you dealt with me personally, I'm telling you, thank you. And I'm also telling you that haven't dealt with me and that are still dealing and making a way for individuals to recover, thank you. Thank you for carrying the message. Hats off to you. May God continue to bless you in so many which ways, man. But yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to them. My experience in All In Solution was just amazing, man. Like, they really, really did a wonderful job. And we're gonna get into more. We'll get into more of that during the podcast, the future podcasts and episodes. If you have any questions that I might be able to answer, feel free to leave it in the comments. shoot me an email, whatever the case, and I'll give you my total honest opinion of what I've experienced in those two places. All right. So, hey, again, you're with your host, Mike Roro. All right. Who is Mike Roro? Hey, born and raised Brooklyn, baby. Brooklyn, the Red Hook section of Brooklyn. All right. Yeah. I mean, Brooklyn. I mean, what can I say? Brooklyn all day. I learned a lot in Brooklyn, but what I did learn a lot was drinking. But born and raised in Brooklyn, man. I like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, I had a drug abusive father. He was in and out of the house, man. His drug of choice was crack. And my father was a magician, man. My father made everything vanish. Everything. And it's so crazy. My father, it was so bad that my father would take the food from the freezer after my mom would do a compra shopping, food shopping, the food from the freezer he would take and sell for his drugs. Who buys frozen meat from a drug addict? Me and my brothers, we laugh and joke about it now, but wow, But I desired the love of a father all those years. And that leads me to say this. What I've learned is all addictions begin with trauma. What? Hold on, say that again, Mike. All addiction begin with trauma. I'm going to let that settle in. So let's look at what trauma. Trauma is defined as what? Okay. Trauma is defined as a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. So a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. And also physical injury. So just think about that. Our understanding of what trauma is, we have to reflect on that. Now, I just mentioned my father was a drug addict, early age. I believe my brother and I have an older brother. He's 1 year older. So if he was 9, I was 8. If he was 10, I was 9, like when we really understood that my father was on drugs. That's a traumatic experience, period. Having a drug abusive parent in the home. I can tell thousands of stories that I've seen, that I've witnessed. I can tell you words that I've heard, arguments, some of the most craziest things that I've heard. Right there alone, there's traumatic experiences. And then on top of that, so what I went through, just what me and my brothers went through with having a drug abusive father, you can imagine those traumatic experiences, right? Now my older brother, he's the bomb. My older brother is one of the smartest dudes I know. And he's like one of the honest dudes I know. And he did amazing in school. He was wonderful in school. He always took school serious. I didn't. So I was even compared to my brother. Never from my brother. My brother never did that. But family members would always say comments to me, you should be more like your brother. You should be more like your brother. Like, I didn't even realize my self-worth was being demolished at a young kid. On top of that, other traumatic experiences that were happening, like being made fun of, pimples. I had a ton of pimples. I was bigger. I wasn't overweight, but I was known as Big Mike. Like, I was the bigger kid. Like, man, you know that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never. No, wrong. Whoever came up with that was broken. Okay? Because that is the most non-truthful thing. Yo, I was broken. I was broken. And everybody that knows me back then, I wasn't one of those guys that used to, excuse me, I wasn't one of those guys that used to like go up to the girls, talk to the girls, never. I mean, my confidence, I didn't have any. I really didn't have any. Um, and I wasn't that guy. So with all of the traumas and all of the stuff, not feeling myself, my self-worth is gone. I might have been 15, 16. I always had a lot of facial hair and stuff. When I might have went, I say it was a club. It probably wasn't even a club. It might have been a hole in the wall spot where I went through with some of the older guys. Finally got the courage up, seen this girl, and I said, you know what? Hey, how you doing? Would you like to dance? Man, she hit me with the B-box. She goes, the B-box. I was so embarrassed that yeah, she almost got snuffed. Man, I haven't heard, yo, I'm gonna snuff you. She almost got snuffed. And imagine, no self-worth, no confidence, all of that stuff. I said, boom, she just embarrassed me in front of everybody. Trauma. Throughout my whole life, I had it. So when did I really start drinking? Now, I had my first beer at 13. My godfather, who God rest his soul, is no longer with us, but my godfather gave me a beer, taste of beer when I was like 13. But I didn't start drinking until about 18. And I had some friends that would drink, and they introduced me to like these sweet beers or these sweet drinks. One of the guys, he used to drink, I don't even know what the bottle was called 43. So I don't know what it was. It was some kind of liquor, and he would mix it with milk. It was 43 and milk. It was like this sweet drink. That's what I started off with. Like those sweet drinks. And I started getting hooked. Why? What did the drinking do for me? Let me see if you guys can relate. Drinking. So when I would drink at that age, 18, how did it make me feel? Happy? Yes. Check. Euphoria. I had my euphoria was just crazy. I was relaxed. It was almost like a social lubricant, right? It made me more talkative, and most importantly, it made me feel confident. Laughing, joking, seeing people laugh and joke, and and Michael, yo, and it changed me emotionally because while I was feeling hurt and all of that, it made me feel better. I forgot certain hurts. I forgot certain sadnesses that I had. That was all in the beginning. So the moderate drinking pretty much had pleasant short-term effects. I mean, like, think about it. Everybody right now, take a second. Think about your early stages of whatever your addiction is. There's pleasure, right? That short-term, whatever, there's pleasure. But guess what? It doesn't last that long. You start to get the negative experiences. Yes. Mikey Roro, what's the negative that you went through? I'll tell you right now. First of all, drinking, hangovers. Oh, hangovers are crazy. Depression, anxiety, guilt, and regret, man. Regret is a killer. Aggression, irritability, irritability. I don't even know. You guys know the word. But I'm going to say something. My aggression, it got so bad that some of my friends didn't even want to hang out or go out anymore with me. I always felt lonely, isolation. And that's like, you think about it. How many of you guys drink now by yourselves? Like, My cognitive impairment, my memory was gone. These are the long lasting effects of drinking. At least that was happening with me. You know, I became I was a problematic drinker, and here's the crazy thing: I was a problematic drinker, and I thought this was normal. How many of you guys think it's normal right now? What you've been dealing with? It ain't normal. So I battled addiction for about 24 years. The longest that I've ever been sober straight is about 3.5 years. Now, I would go months at a time. Sober, sober, sober. 1 month drinking. I relapsed many times. Relapse addiction won 100% of the time. Listen to what I just said. I relapsed in 24 years all the time. Relapse beat me. Addiction beat me. Addiction has a 100% win rate over me. Ain't that crazy? So, I shouted out where, excuse me, I shouted out where I went, right? Boca, Recovery, and All In Solution. And my goodness, what was revealed was life changing, man. Starting with Boca, they had a group session, and I was willing to open up, man. I need to find out what's going on with me. What the hell is the problem? And I was willing to open up, and I shared some very private things. I didn't care who was with me. I opened up, and I spoke about some private things, some things I have been dealing with for years, things that have led to regret for years, man. And she broke it down. She broke it down like, I'm 43 years old, and the counselor broke it down all the way to when I was about seven or eight. All of these experiences that had trauma that I buried and carried for all of these years, man. That I had no confidence, no self-worth. I never felt good about myself. And I carried that into adulthood, man. And I carried that more importantly in my marriage. And that's when the revelation took place, man. That's when the revelation took place about the traumas that I experienced. So now, the traumas that I've experienced have been revealed, and now I'm digging them out by the root. I'm gradually digging them out by the root, dealing with these issues. And I'm telling you right now, I already feel better. They're still there, but I am feeling so much better. And that was just at the beginning, over at Boca. Then the next thing, I was sent over to All In, right? 4 groups a day, 2 therapy sessions a week, the fellowship with the others in my situation, those that are going through the same thing, whether it be drugs or alcohol. Like, we were struggling. We all had desired freedom. That was our desire. That was our connecting bond. And that's what I'm telling you guys right now. Those of you that are watching this show, and those of you that are going to be in this community, what connects us is the desire to recover, is the desire to lift each other up, is the desire to get through it and become ultimately the better man, the better woman, and learning who we really are. That is it. That is why this community works. That's what I'm experiencing right now. So over and all in, man, the question was, how do we stop? And, it's crazy because in All In, how can I say this? In All In, they're not your traditional place. And you can say, well, Mike Rowe, how do you know that? That was your first one. There were many folks in there. One gentleman who I became really good friends with, that was his ninth attempt in a program, some 7, 6, you name it. And they all had the same testimony. They never heard what they were hearing in All In. It wasn't the same type of message. It wasn't about the addiction and the relapse, just not doing it. Don't do it no more. It was taught. Are you ready? Mike, what were they teaching? Man, it was taught, and I'm on this. I am so on this. The question or the reality or the statement was brought to us and said, hey, what if I tell you the system is rigged for failure? Ooh. Huh? What are you talking about? What if I was to tell you that the system was rigged for failure and relapse and addiction will always win? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What are you talking about over here? Well, so then it was brought, Mike, how many years? 24 years of trying. They went around the room. 9 rehabs, 8 rehabs, 7 rehabs, 20 years, 10 years, 15 years. You know what we all had in common? We relapsed. We all relapsed. We all relapsed. We all were doing the same thing, thinking we could do it on our own. And guess what? Guess what won? Addiction. Addiction / relapse had a 100% win rate, not just on Mike, but on everybody that was there. What does this mean? There were people there like so enraged. What do you mean? What's the point? What's the point if I'm gonna fail? There were people going crazy. I was thinking the same thing. But I was thinking and I was listening. It's hopeless. Is it truly not possible? We can't stop. And the reality was, what if we're battling the wrong thing? What if we're trying to treat? What if we're treating the wrong thing? We've been treating the addiction part, the sobriety part. I mean, not the sobriety part, the relapse part. But we're not treating the right thing. What do you mean? I need to know. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So if we focus on just the addiction, the alcohol, the drugs, right? And sobriety, the not doing of those things, we're not attacking or treating the actual issue. And what is the actual issue? Because here it is. The issue's not drugs. The issue's not alcohol. You ready? Addiction is a mental health disorder. Yo, Mike, what the hell are you talking about? I ain't got nothing wrong with my mind. Okay, let me just tell you what I've learned. We've not been treating the right issue, right? Like we're treating the alcohol, the drugs, right? Now there's treatments for that, but our minds have to be reprogrammed. We need to treat this mental health disorder the right way. The first thing is acknowledging that it is a mental health disorder. I never would have thought, I would have never said, yo, I ain't got no mental health issues. Man, get out of here. What's wrong with you? I just drink. No, my sick mind has warped my whole thought process and warped my whole understanding. The National Institute of Drug Abuse, NIDA, the National Institute of Drug Abuse, defines addiction as a chronic, relapsing brain disorder and mental illness That involves compulsive substance use despite negative consequence. A relapsing brain disorder. Addiction is the most severe form of substance use disorder which can affect a person's brain and behavior. Yo, my brain, my thought process, my mind is sick. It's so sick that it made me feel like I didn't have an issue with my brain. I didn't have an issue with my head. It's so while I was over in the program, a couple of guys were leaving, who was this and that. And we heard, and I don't know how the information came about. I don't know if it was true or not, but we heard one or two of the guys had relapsed the day they got out or the 2 days later, whatever the case. So in my mind, I'm just thinking, yo, I hope they get back on track. But understanding that this was a mental issue, I started to realize 2 days before I left. Let me backtrack. I was introduced to the tools that we need that'll give us a fighting chance. 12-step program. Sponsor. Work the program. All of these tools were introduced and handed out to each one of us. Not even handed out, they were laid out. All we had to do was take all of the tools and use all of the tools. So about 2 days before I was leaving, I had this thought. Mike, start planning. When you get out of here, what's the first thing you're going to do? So I started telling my mind, I'm going to find a meeting right away. I'm going to get a sponsor right away. I'm going to, boom, all of the tools that were given, I started to tell myself and program my mind that I will do it and I'm going to do it. Okay. The last day that I'm there, it's a 2.5-hour ride home. Weather's bad, some traffic. My mind already started going, Mike, you don't need to go. Yo, you just did all of these days, man. You could just go tomorrow. You don't have to go. Boom. Radar went up. Sick mind alert. No, my sick mind is trying to get me to lose. Because if I would have chose that, I would have already started to choose relapse. See, our sick mind is filtering our thoughts. And it's telling us. Our minds are telling us, and our minds are programming us to already fail. So I counted that. 2.5, maybe 2 hours, 45 minutes, got home. I went straight to a meeting. Now check this out. Here's the wonderful thing. I went to the meeting. I got there about 15 minutes early. Get out the van. I see the church, or again, it was a church building. I see a gentleman standing outside. So I'm like, hey, brother, how you doing? Hey, this is where the meeting is? And he goes, yeah, you're here for the meeting? I said, yes, sir, I am. And he goes, oh, man, I was going to cancel it. Obviously, this gentleman is running the meeting. He said, man, I was going to cancel it because they're doing construction in the church, and I didn't think nobody was going to come out. So I said, well, I'm so glad you didn't cancel it because it's just going to be me and you, big book study. And he laughed, but there was another gentleman. That night, it was a total of 4 men that pushed themselves, right? And those 3 men carried the message, and they were able to teach me and show me things in the big book. Hats off to those men that pushed through. I have been out 4 or 5 days. I have been to a meeting every day. I make sure that I'm battling and addressing the main root cause of my problem, which is my mind. I'm also battling and pulling those traumatic issues that I went through gradually, little by little, I'm feeling really great. I really am. I'm constantly reading the big book. If you don't have a big book, go get one. Go get one. Like, do what you got to do. You know, the saddest thing that I've seen in the last 35 days or so is this. There were more people that really desired freedom, that desired to get back on track, that desired a new life. And they were really focused. But there was still that small percentage of people, folks, that were just there because they needed a certificate. They were court ordered. And they were like a cancer. I seen them bring others down. Don't surround yourself with those people no more. Guys, I'm not, listen, we are all, some people want it, some people don't. I'm all about learning and educating myself and talking. I've never talked, us as men, we don't talk about our feelings. We's men, right? No, nobody's supposed to see us emotional. Nah. I'm talking. I cannot be a better husband. I cannot be a better father if I don't take care of me. Right? I can't. Yo, I'm 43. All my years, I messed up. I need to be better, and I'm going to be better. So, this is, man, I kind of dived off of what I was trying to get to, but I'm giving you a little example of what is to come over here at Easy Does It, EDI, baby. This community is here. We are here to lift each other up. We are here to carry the message. We are here for knowledge. We are here for wisdom. Listen, if there is something that you see me do wrong, if there's something, a misunderstanding in the big book, or that let me know. Teach me. Especially if you've been out here and you a bit, what do they call it? The big book thumpers. I need you. One of the things that I love, I'm a history fanatic. I truly believe that if you want the truth of anything, you just dive down in history. I believe that. And I've already looked up some things with the history of Bill W., the big book, and I'm blown away. And I will tell you this, there has not been one story that I've read in the big book that has not talked to me, that is not an example of me. So, with that said, man, listen, I want to encourage you. Again. The sayings in the big book, the saying in this community is just for today, right? Listen, you don't got to drink just for today. Just for today, okay? And again, remember, no matter how stressful things get, no matter how you remember, easy does it, big man. Easy does it, fella. Easy does it, young lady. Easy does it. Slow down. Easy does it. All right? We are here for each other. Listen, leave a message in the comments, stuff that you want to hear, stuff that you want to talk about. And, you know, I'm so looking forward to being a blessing and being a part of your life during our journey to sobriety. All right? I will see you guys in just a couple of days, okay? All right. Thanks for joining Easy Does It with your host, Mike Roro. Until next time. Peace.
Listen.